It's a great pleasure for me to return to Zurich for this so-called last dance, with it being my last exhibition at the museum, but it's also a great pleasure to be in such esteemed company this morning on the occasion of this symposium. It's a great honor to also welcome various speakers who came here internationally, and thanks to them and of course the team at the museum for organizing everything. So I'm going to give a kind of overview of the exhibition. I feel like I'm speaking on behalf of the other curators because, as you see, the show happened in 3 venues. So this is a kind of slideshow presentation where I'll kind of give a kind of general overview how the show came about and some of the themes in the show as well. So the exhibition was organized by Haegue Gallery under the curatorship of Young Ma, and from London it travelled to Kunsthal Rotterdam, where it was curated by Shahir Regrot, before arriving here in Zurich in September last year. Spanning 3 venues over a 2-year period, the symposium marks the occasion of this wide-ranging, ambitious exhibition, and it's actually the artist's first touring exhibition. In many ways, Haegue Yang's work resists categorisation, intensely navigating the art historical boundaries between abstraction and figuration. Through diverse media such as installation, essaic video, and anthropomorphic sculpture, Yang constructs constellations of works that challenge our understanding of contemporary life through intimacies woven between bodies and objects. In examining how movement, emotion, and sentiment operates across different contexts, Yang's body of work reveals both the personal and the collective, a holistic unfolding of memory and socio-cultural association. Themes of identity, biography, and transnationality are central to her work, reflecting in her subjective engagement with the broad fabric of society. Drawing on folk tales and on decades of living and working between 2 continents, her artistic work addresses the lived realities of migration and displacement. These tensions are palpable in the exhibition they appear, where the unease of navigating multiple cultural contexts coexist with resilience and adaptation. The works evoke an ongoing process of observation, learning, and unlearning that characterizes Yang's peripatetic life. Yet, despite the prolific and expressive nature of her work, Yang remains somewhat enigmatic, offering only fleeting references to her Korean heritage or to her extensive research. Her exhibitions ultimately imbue space with a sense of presence, one charged with inquiry and the potential for discovery. Unlike a conventional retrospective, Leap Year was never conceived as a comprehensive overview of Yang's entire career. Instead, it functions as a survey of her work produced over a 3-decade period. Each of the 3 iterations of the exhibition, we're still on London, places a distinct emphasis on Yang's practice, shaped by the curatorial voice of each institution. While a group of artworks remains largely consistent across each institution, omissions and additions have been made here at Migros Museum, resulting in a subtle yet meaningful shift in emphasis. At the very heart of the exhibition is a thematic constellation of works that explores recurring concerns such as movement, spirituality, community, and domesticity. This approach has allowed the exhibition to take on different forms in each institution and offering the curators the opportunity to leave their own imprint, introducing new juxtapositions, interpretations, and resonances. This curatorial seasoning, so to speak, frames Yang's practice through multiple lenses, drawing out key components and latent possibilities within her work across 3 decades. The opportunity to curate a survey exhibition of a single artist inevitably comes with certain limitations. Some seminal works central to the practice may be absent, yet this constraint also opens up alternative ways of grouping, assembling, and rethinking specific periods or trajectories within the artist's work. At the same time, the process becomes a journey of building a close, if temporary, connection with the artist, almost like becoming their provisional best friend, complete with moments of disagreement and negotiation. This intimacy allows for a sustained focus on a particular body of work, bringing it into the foreground through the lens of the exhibition format. The first iteration of Leap Year at the Hayward Gallery, curated by Young Ma, placed a particular emphasis on Yang's early works, including the recreation of one of her first exhibitions staged in her family home in Korea. This historical anchoring was accompanied by a striking new commission, Star-Crossed Rendezvous After Yun, which extended Yang's long-standing commitment with everyday material and classical music. In Rotterdam, the second iteration, the exhibition further developed these concerns by foregrounding themes of migration and transitory movement, both as lived experience in Yang's own migratory life and as a set of transnational exchanges embedded within her practice. At the Migros Museum, the exhibition fostered a sense of intimacy with many of Yang's works in new groupings, providing quiet spaces for reflection and attentive engagements. Yang's practice consistently traverses the terrain of the everyday, transforming her fascination with customs, social codes, rituals, and close observation into sculptural forms that are at once familiar and also experimental. Objects are drawn from diverse cultures, traditions, and geographies, are reassembled into hybrid configurations, generating new meanings through unexpected juxtapositions. This sustained engagement with modest, often inexpensive materials provides the conceptual foundation for a practice that probes a public and a private space, as well as transnationality, displacement, belonging, memory, and loss. This conceptual and material preoccupation unfolds across the survey exhibition, which brings together works from different phases of Yang's practice, while underscoring their deep continuity. Her early works foreground concerns with precarity, storage, mobility, and traditional techniques, establishing a material vocabulary that continues to inform her work today. In her mid-career works, if you will, Yang extends this inquiry through sustained experimentation with objects, weaving, and craft traditions drawn from multiple cultural contexts. These approaches do not fade in her more recent practice, rather they persist and evolve, re-emerging within increasingly ambitious large-scale commissions. In these later works, abundance, light, sound, and immersive spatial experience amplify rather than replace her foundational engagement with traditional techniques and everyday materials, which remain a constant and grounding presence throughout her practice. Among the seminal early works included in this exhibition is Storage Piece from 2004, a modular constellation of artworks conceived to be shipped and gradually unpacked as part of its display. Comprising works on paper, as well as paintings, objects, beer crates, furniture, and a shelving unit, the piece unfolds as a flexible, self-contained system adaptable to each institutional context. Taking on distinct spatial expressions in both London and Zurich, the work slowly reveals its constants and its history as a travelling artwork. It also reflects the precarity faced by many artists, particularly the challenge of storing works in the early stages of their careers, while also offering a pragmatic solution for consolidating multiple works into a single entity. As curator Young Ma has noted, Storage Piece also operates as a form of self-irony and institutional critique. At the Migros Museum, the work takes on renewed life through its staged unpacking. Conservation tape must be cut open to reveal the contents, leaving visible scars, traces, and institutional histories that accumulate within each iteration. This careful attention to material, process, and the temporal unfolding of meaning carries over into Yang's mesmerizing Mesh series from 2021 onwards, which represents a sustained engagement with paper, both as medium and also carriers of cultural memory. Emerging from intensive research into Korean paper cutting, the series is primarily executed in Haegue, forgive my pronunciation, traditional mulberry paper historically used in ritual contexts, sometimes combined with graph paper. Through cutting, folding, and layering, Yang produces intricate compositions that range from geometric abstraction, known in his studio as formations, to anthropomorphic and figurative soul sheets or soul streamers, each carrying symbolic or spiritual association. Some works are also designed to ward off evil spirits, while others reference the soul sheets or nyugchon, again forgive my pronunciation, tokens that embody the souls of the deceased. Mesmerizing Mesh demonstrates Yang's meticulous attention to craft and her ability to embed historical, ritualistic, and social narratives into her practice. The series also illuminates her nuanced approach to abstraction, one that moves beyond conventional modernist frameworks by integrating spiritual, cultural, and performative dimensions. This takes us to more recent work, specifically 2 works commissioned for leap year, Sonic Arch Rope, Gold Hexagon Light, and Sonic Droplets in Graduation, Waterveil. In these works, Yang expands her exploration of materials and ritual into spatial, haptic, and auditory experiences, activating environments that engage viewers' bodies as well as their perception. The rigorous attention to detail seen in Mesmerizing Mesh, its folding, cutting, and layering, is transformed at a larger scale into complex sensorial architectures that continue to investigate movement, resonance, and interaction. It is the sensorial nature of her work, often subtle, that unites all of Yang's practice, in my view. Her large-scale sculptures, such as Sonic Dress Vehicle Hulky Head, may be discussed in terms of scale and aesthetic impact, but the way they are choreographed within a space makes them as much an auditory experience as a visual one. The effect is always understated. There are distinct hints throughout Yang's work. Nothing shouts. Whether a large installation or a small drawing, each piece exudes a quiet allure through craft, detail, and attunement to the senses. In preparing for this introduction, I was reminded of one of my first conversations with Haegue about leap year in her Berlin studio. We spoke about our shared interest in classical music, and when I described my intentions for the exhibition, Yang remarked, so it's Baroque. And indeed, it could not be closer to the truth. Music from the Baroque period is marked by elaborate organization, dramatic contrasts, complex polyphony, and a sustained expressiveness of emotion. In my view, this captures the essence of leap year, and by extension, Yang's work to date. Combining an arresting visual immediacy with an elliptical and multi-layered conceptual approach, Yang has articulated a canny aesthetic of hybridity. Her works activate unexpected dialogues between ideas and objects from different traditions and cultures, triggering exchanges from the past and the present. Ultimately, Leap year presents Yang's practice as an evolving constellation rather than a fixed narrative. Objects, histories, rituals resonate in dialogue with the present, inviting viewers to experience the interplay of movement, form, and sound in ever-shifting ways, and to perceive material and cultural traditions as part of a complex, holistic weaving, hinting at what is yet to come. Thank you.